all of the rockets that we know, are sort of, they're mostly solid rocket motors, but we've also now gone to build some liquid fuel motors. Let's talk about that.
So in India, what happened was we firstly came up with a solid this thing called initially SLV-3. After that, we got this technology from France for the Viking engine, which was renamed as Vikas engine in our case, which has been been the workhorse of PSLV, which has been the workhorse, has made use of this Viking engine, which is renamed as Vikas engine. And another liquid engine that goes at the top. The one at the top, if you recollect, some years back, ISRO had made a record of 105 satellites, which very recently has been broken. What you need is you need to put them on the correct orbits.
Yeah.
So that is where liquid engines come. And also liquid engines have a much better performance-wise compared to solid engines. One of the performance parameters that we usually use is what is called as ISP, which is very simplistically put, thrust per unit mass flow rate of the propellant. So if you have a higher ISP, that's a very good measure. So if you look at solids, they have a lower ISP compared to liquids. So liquids are useful in that, but solids have been useful in producing a very large thrust. So that is why we use most of the first stages as solids, and then we go on to liquids because they are not capable of producing very large thrust, or they have to be clustered to produce the very large thrust that is required.
Sure.
So we make use of them in the upper stages usually, so that the overall payload is quite high. So in India, we've developed all these liquid rocket engines also, and all the way up to cryogenic engine. Now, cryogenic engine is something wherein we are looking at liquid oxygen and liquid hydrogen. They are the best fuel and oxidizer available. Other than probably fluorine, but fluorine is a very difficult compound to handle, element to handle. So we've gone ahead with oxygen. So liquid oxygen, liquid hydrogen is used. We need liquids primarily because otherwise their densities will be very poor. They are gases at ordinary temperature. Hence the use of the name cryogenics. Okay. So when you use them, you get a very good specific impulse. And that is very much required for geostationary launches and other launches, wherein your payload can be of the order of 4.5 tons as it stands today. And with future vehicles that ISRO is planning, we would be probably going towards 6 to 8, 10 ton class of satellites that we could be able to launch.